Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Mishmash Gaming League Xbox Day 1. This is the first ever Xbox MMG League, and right now we have two fantastic teams. We have HEARTBREAK Esports and Reanimated Gaming. I am joined by my co-caster, Bubba Fabes. How are we doing today?
Fantastic. It feels good to be back.
Yeah, it feels good to be on Xbox, the home of, my home for the longest time. Welcome to my domain, Jeffy. But we're going to get into map bans right now. So first map being banned out is Clubhouse. So Reanimated takes that off the board, and HEARTBREAK take Villa, followed by Coastline, again, by Reanimated. So on Xbox, I'm going to say the more dominant maps are Bank and Border. I hope to see Consulate, but I have a feeling we're either going to go Bank or Border. Those are going to be one of the two we go to. Border and Consulate. So, as I predicted, we're right there. Not too surprised there. Bank is a very popular map. Very good for roaming. It works in the way of kind of like Consulate, where there's a lot of, and Coastline too. They're all very similar maps. In the sense of there's a lot of ways to get back to site. There's a lot of rotation, a lot of room for roaming. So the teams are, it is going to be something the teams are going to have to be aware of, and especially when they do their operator bans, that they're going to have to really think about how the roaming strategy is going to be, and especially of how they're going to be taking things like CEO office, and especially basement. Basement's always a very interesting one, because the strat is never really the same per team.
Yeah, for sure.
So
yeah, the different play styles, like the aggression from one and is different from another, and yeah, for sure. So it'll be interesting to see kind of how they arrange their bans to kind of fit their own play style and what we expect to see from each of these teams.
Yeah, I'm very excited. We should be jumping into it any second now. Reanimated Gaming, they did win the Xbox, kind of preliminary tournament beforehand. And HEARTBREAK is no newcomer to Siege as well. They do have a team over at PS4, if you're not aware of, who do very well. So both these teams, at least the organizations, are very well into Siege. So it will be very interesting to see how they develop here. So we're going to get into the first ban. Reanimated is going to be picking the first person. I can imagine Jackal's going to be one of them, just because of how big the map is.
Yeah.
Jackal
for sure. Oh, mine. I'm a little bit behind.
So this here is something very interesting. I'm assuming this is more directed for a basement hold. It just allows a little bit more movement, and creates a little bit more of an issue for the attackers trying to get into CCTV. So they really are going to have to rethink that strategy, and Jackal close behind. So Thatcher, kind of a curveball, but not too surprising. And then Jackal, again, not too surprising from that either. Just because of, again, how big the map is. From the defense standpoint, I can see either an Echo, a Mira, or a Maestro. Mira, as predicted. Not too surprised by that.
I am a little bit like Mira is obviously not a bad pick, but again, the other main picks being you're talking about, Smoke's a very powerful pick, Kaid for those hatches. Another possible pick, because those hatches can really create some really tough angles to fight against. Echo is kind of the obvious. I would have been super surprised if Echo was not banned. He just seems to be kind of the go-to. He's really powerful. And then, again, without the Thatcher being there, you can't really kind of counter the Echo so easily anymore for your plant. Again, as well as any fortified walls or doors. That's off the table. So that's very interesting kind of setup they have going right now. Jumping right into their picks right now, we do have a Mozzie being brought to the table and a Valk. So, so we do have a lot of information gatherers set up on the defense, and they are going to be going Teller's office. So it's really good place to set up for the info, because you have to watch so many areas when you're holding that first floor. You need eyes on the top floor because you know the attackers are going to go up there, but you also need eyes in the surrounding areas like open area and whatnot, because the last thing you want is some flanks to come around there. You want to keep control of that area so you can kind of rotate around. And Tachenka's
he's being locked in.
He's
very interesting pick. I think it's more or less teams just having a little bit of fun right now. It is the first game, right? You just want to, feel out the team. And again, sometimes you want to get your meme on, right? So sometimes you gotta pull the Lord out of your pocket and just throw it at the enemy team's face. But seeing Mozzie on the board is it's a breath of fresh air because of how powerful he really is at just denying area intel. Granted, even if he doesn't snag any drones, the fact that if he has his pests in the correct spot, it will actually create it so drones cannot enter certain areas, and therefore they're kind of almost going in blind. So he works in a way kind of like Mute would for drones, right? So that being picked, and because obviously his guns are really powerful, it's really nice to see him on the board. And I'm very surprised too, Valkyrie made it back on the board, but I'm also not crazy surprised because there are more powerful operators on this particular map. So we are going to be going to Archives Tellers though as the first bomb site, which is another very interesting pick, just because of the basement or top floor are generally the first two you pick. But we'll have to wait to see how this pulls out.
Beautiful looking Tachenka. I'm wondering if they have an actual strat for Tachenka or not, or if looks like Tachenka's AFK.
Maybe it was a random pick? I'm not too sure.
It may have been a random pick. But I would love to see a strat around Tachenka for some, to hold off a quarter or something. That would be beautiful to be able to work him into that. But I guess we'll find out.
Yeah, he is very difficult to work around. There are some decent ideas I have seen be thrown around to develop a strat around Tachenka, but the problem is with Tachenka, he can't move. So once he gets cordoned off, it's basically a waste of an operator. And at the same time, there are more powerful operators than Tachenka, and more useful ones that can surely benefit your team. So granted, he might be a pretty cool operator, but he doesn't bring anything to the table currently.
Yeah, so when I first saw him being picked, I immediately went to maybe they just want to destroy a lot of walls, because he's pretty good for that. Just sit beside his gun and just literally rip apart the walls. You don't have to worry about anyone losing their ammo or anything. You can kind of use his turret for that. I've seen it done before, but that's not what they're using him for.
Nope, and it does look like we're going to have Sleepy Cat going to be kind of getting into a first altercation over here with Mozzie pushing into storage over here, or at least attempting to. Going to keep an eye on open area, but first one going up to Royal Viper, and Reaction with another one taking out Royal Viper. So again, nice little refrag there. So that is your Ying and your Mozzie both off the table. 50 seconds left though. There hasn't been too much progress. There is a soft wall. It doesn't seem to know what's going on yet. The Gridlock is making sure that watch the flank here. And it does seem like she took a little bit of damage there. Waze is going to try and cover her flank a little bit while she opens up and breaches the soft wall. Spikes go out, stop any potential flank. Wall gets opened up. But with 20 seconds left, they do have to push in. And with 4v4 here, this can wind up to be a very messy push. Nice shot by Hades. Nice gets taken down as well. C4 goes out, takes out two. Very nice. And then able to finish off. Impulse finds the kill, but they run out of time. Not able to get that diffuser down. So first round does go to Reanimated Gaming.
So I apologize. I don't really have my feed going for me right now. So I'm just trying to kind of catch up on from what you're saying and little glimpses I can see of the match. But yeah, definitely good first round. That bomb site is tough. Once you lose access to that bomb site, it's really easy to get stuck in there, and you kind of have two options. One is you have to kind of like hold your angles and hope that the attackers don't have too many counter angles on you and just be able to pick them off that way, or you're forced to leave bomb site, go for flanks, and kind of go for a retake. It's once you kind of lose that momentum, it's really hard to come back from that.
And also, there wasn't too much of a presence up top. Top floor is a very crucial part. Although Reanimated didn't take anything from there, they pushed mainly from open area offices and then pushing into the. I always call it a closet, but I know it's an office. That side office there. They did push that way, but it's always good to have a little bit of presence up top, especially for a retake, because then you can have sight on the bomb or anything like that. You at least have visuals and can have a good possibility of a retake. But that aside, though, Reanimated just kind of held them out, and unfortunately, Heartbreak just didn't have good time management at that point. So it was just a good, solid round from both teams. Again, it was a late push. Just they didn't clear out anybody. It was a very awkward start. I think teams are just kind of getting used to this whole thing. But I think as it goes on, we're gonna see a little bit more. And as I say that, Tim Waves takes out Sleepy Cat with a nice shot over here by exterior parking. And that's the Valkyrie off the board. Hopefully she got all her cams out. Monty is going to open it up, but he gets taken out by Nomad, getting a little bit too rambunctious here. And that is Diffuser down right by the window. So this Legion has prime real estate over by this window.
To lose your Monty like that so early, like that's like a huge error in your attack. Like that's because your Monty's like your late game savior, you know, to be able to hide by him or like make those pushes. Like being a Monty player, like you got to survive. Like you got to be a little bit smarter than that for your team's sake. You're not a fragger.
And the thing is, too, I didn't see any drones go out, so there was a very strong lack of information being delivered to the Monty. Right? Oh, just missed the headshot. Royal Viper going to try and spray through the wall. Mozzie just getting away with a sliver of health. And he's going to retreat back to objective. And you can see here we have Castle over here. And he gets caught sleeping. Nice one tap by Royal Viper. As you can see here, everybody else is falling too. It's Ice gets a nice one onto K2. And this brings us down to a 2v2 with a Twitch and a Ying on the board. But Castle with very little health. This doesn't look very promising for Heartbreak Gaming. But the Diffuser is downstairs as I say that. So it makes it even more challenging for Heartbreak to really go another victory. Now, as he gets away with it, just missing the shot. Tim not able to hit the shots onto the Jaeger. Is going to retreat back up the stairs. A minute left though. Has lots of time. Good. Easier to get this one out. He played a little bit more patient. Ying is just throwing her Candelas out. Not able to hit the shots onto the Castle. Castle goes prone. Finally gets taken out by Royal Viper, and now it's just two down to it's Ice here. Is able to down one. Going to move back and try and retake the gunfight. Just missing the shots, and he does down him as well. Nice from It's Ice. Attackers finish off these kills before going for the defuse. Very nice retake coming from It's Ice. The Jaeger just dipping and dodging all around the attackers. Nobody's able to hit their shots. And that brings Reanimated to a 2-0 over Heartbreak Gaming.
Cutting it pretty close that round, but again, like we got some excellent gunplay coming from both of these teams. Like we see a lot of skill going there, but like we saw right from the beginning, something so simple, like you can be a very skilled player, but if you're not droning in your entry fraggers or like whoever's going in first, like you're putting yourself at a huge disadvantage. That's like elite team 101, like droning the information before you kind of set someone up for disaster like that.
And generally, too, you don't see too many people melee a window. I know it's a very small critique, but most of the time you'll see somebody open the window. It just avoids the situation that we see with the Monty where he gets pre-fired and obviously he gets shot in the head and there goes your Monty.
Oh, is that what? He was.
Yeah,
I have no feed for exactly what happened. So, he was meleeing the window and got shot in the head.
Exactly, right? So he's breaking over the window. There was no drone saying that there's a lesion in open area, and then he got shot that way. Whereas if you had a drone, he could have been told there's a lesion there, maybe played a little bit more safe. And if somebody just shut the window open for him, he would have been okay, and then you would have gone in a lot quicker and potentially even won the round a little bit more convincingly.
Yeah. If they had that, honestly, if that Monty was able to survive just that much longer, like that would have been the decider, I think, for the attackers. Like it definitely would have completely switched the whole end of that result around.
Yeah, it was definitely something that it was just an unfortunate play, but it's the small thing that seems like get you the wins. It's not the big thing. Sometimes the big plays can get you those W's, but it's a small, fine detail and things like that that are going to make a difference. As you can see here, though, we are finally going to the basement. Same composition coming out from Heartbreak, but Reanimated mixing it up, bringing an Ella over it. Ella is very powerful over there on those stairs, especially with her shotgun. It makes it very difficult for the attackers to push into the CCTV office. And she can basically hold this out almost all by herself with the assistance of Jaeger here. He's going to put some ADSs so she doesn't get fragged out. And with the ban of Thatcher, she is going to be a very big nuisance. Heartbreak gaming at this point, so I'm very interested to see how they try to flush her out.
Attackers recovered the bomb diffuser.
Are they the ones that banned Thatcher?
The ones who were banned Thatcher actually was Reanimated. So Reanimated probably had this strat in mind for the exact reason of banning the Thatcher. So
yeah.
They banned the Thatcher and the Echo, so they obviously have a reason for the Thatcher, and Echo was just a safety ban at that point. But as you can see here, we do have the Thermite of Hades going over here by the loan office. TM Waves, unfortunately, has disconnected, but he has made his way back into the game. So the attackers are at a disadvantage already before the game even begins. And right now, as you can see, Royal Viper is going to be coming up on this Ella. Ella not getting a little bit aggressive. I don't know if she needs to be this aggressive. And, she takes out Royal Viper, though. Patriot putting the work with that pistol tote as well. Unfortunately, at that point, I think Ying should have just backed away. She knew she wasn't going to win that gunfight if she wasn't hitting the shots, and just could have recollected herself. But
for the Ella to push up. So for the Ella to push up, they have a lot of information. I'm not sure where they put the cameras and stuff, but they probably knew exactly, they were able to relay that information to make that push that much easier. She knew exactly where they were.
Yep, and I think because the was never taken out, but nice shot coming from Nomad and K2 go for the refrag onto Patriot. So that Ella's finally off the blue stairs. But as you can see here, Nomad going off with the Roni. Able to get 2 quick kills, and now it is just down to Gridlock. Gridlock is stuck over here in Teller's office. She's going to rotate around. She's going to try and get the kill onto the Mozzie. She finally does down him. That's 1 off the board, but she still has 3 to go. And it's going to be an uphill battle from here. She is going to be rotating back into Teller's office. Might go down to the vault, but nice shot from Sleepy Cat coming down from the vault with that Alda and the red dot to be exact. Very nice. Usually that's very frowned upon, the red dot, but very nice shooting. And it does look like Reanimated is starting to take this one home. 3-0 going into round 4.
They're really making use of their roam game, because I think that Orange Heart aren't doing such a good job at clearing out the defenders and kind of creating their own area. Like we saw, the Mozzie walking all the way around, just taking control and just getting behind the attackers like that. That's what this map is about, and if you're able to do that, you basically can completely control the attack.
Yeah, Heartbreak is also not punishing them for their droning. Reanimated is punishing Heartbreak for not droning. There we go, that's what I meant to say. Yeah, because Heartbreak is just running in there. They have a slight amount of information knowing where they are, but then they're not droning after that. So they have a very strong ranked mentality. I hate to say that because obviously I'm a ranked player as well, but at the same time there is a distinct difference between the two. So
Yeah.
you may have to make sure you drone in your teammates. So your teammate, when you go drone in, you make the call, hey, he's on blue stairs, or even if he changes
Defenders,
position.
protect your bombs from being
If you're going to say,
defused by
hey, if you
attackers.
see him going towards something, you make the call of where he's going. So therefore you can say, hey, he's moving down to vending machine. So therefore you know, okay, that's where I'm going to be pre-firing, and therefore when you go in for the kill, you're just sweeping in. And therefore you're kind of covering yourself that way, but there's just no information. There's no intel going out saying, hey, there's an attacker or there's a defender over here, or there's Valkyrie over here. Ella had full freedom to take out the game because he was not being supported. That there didn't seem to be any call that's saying, hey, I'm pushing blue, I need 2 people because this Ella's going to be tough to get out. So
Yeah.
it does look like Heartbreak has a little bit of kinks to work out in their strategy, but as you can see, we are going to be going back down to Teller office, but we will have a bit more presence up top, which is nice to see. It does seem like they're going to be trying to play kind of not a heavy roam, but they are going to be planning for a little bit of a retake. But as you can see here, Royal Viper is able to pre-fire by the castle. Takes a little bit of damage through that window. Giving with the Zofia.
Yeah, now this is the exact play that I was talking about during the PS4 game that we had last Wednesday. It's kind of like a off-site fortification, but it's kind of required on this map because, like we saw before, trying to hold that top floor without any defense, like wall fortifications or anything else set up, like everyone just pretty much gets wiped up out there. There's like no place to run. It's pretty open. All the walls you can get shot through. So if you want to hold upstairs, which you kind of need to, you have to pretty much set yourself up like they did.
As we say that, though, Reanimated is cleaning up the attackers as they're just pushing into that closet. And Nomad with another one. He's got a double kill already. Going to probably potentially go for the triple. And as you can see here, we have Jelly Wong out the back alley, just kind of fighting for his life at this point. You can see here, Valkyrie is going to play a little bit of gun tag with him. He does have to try and get who gets absolutely overwhelmed. And you can see a flawless round coming from Reanimated Gaming, just kind of showing how strong of a team they actually are.
Yeah, again, that comes down to your information and your droning. Like, they just kind of walked into there, and there was a tight angle that there was a lot of damage at first before the first kill went down, but they should have kind of at least droned out the skylight area, both the top floor, kind of the main area, to know what they're walking into, because once you're in that wall's not fortified, you can get stuck in that corner, C4, like there's so many things that can get wrong, and that's exactly what happened. Like, everyone got wiped out trying to push in that small area. You have to know in advance what you're kind of walking into.
Yeah, and as well as I think too, Reanimated has a strategy. They have, this is the role, this is what I'm doing. Whereas I feel that Heartbreak, they have an idea of what they want to do, and they're like, okay, let's just go for it. And you have to have a determined strategy of where you're going to push, because if you see in there, they're all pushing through at least one. I think at one point there was 4 of them in one doorway.
Yeah,
and that's exactly where they needed to go. Where in reality is they should have a multi multi-point push. So there's two different my phone just went up. There's 2 different sections, or 2 different amount of operators just kind of pushing from 2 different angles. So therefore, in instances like that where everybody's focusing on one, the other attack operators are coming from the flank and could potentially get a few kills that way. So unfortunately, Heartbreak is just having a bit of trouble.
And again, you never know, like a lot of this also might come down to map preferences. Like, everyone knows, like, some teams do better on some maps better than others. This map may just be more in favor of Reanimated than it is Orange Heart. Now, we are seeing some coordination and some strategy more in the hands of Reanimated, but I think it may also come down to Orange Heart just not being ready to take on this map. Kind of starting with this new Xbox Series, I'm not sure how long that some of these teams have been together, so it could be just some, like, they haven't just gotten to it yet.
Yeah, and you know it's really down to a feel process at this point, figuring out what the other teams are going to have. This Twitch might walk into a pre-fire from that castle. We'll have to wait and see. As you see, Nomad is waiting over here by lobby. He does hear one at the window. He's just not too sure where they're at. He might slowly pick them out. As you can see, Sleepy Cat's right underneath, and unfortunately there is nobody there yet. He doesn't quite see him at the window. And Nomad, able to take out Royal Viper, is going to retreat back, and that is the diffuser gone. And as you can see here, Sleepy Cat is also trying to attack anybody on these windows and is not able to finish off anybody there. Jelly Wong finally taking out Sleepy Cat. But at what cost? They have lost 2 operators at this point, and it is just down to a 4v3. Still got the Monty on the board, which is always good. But as you see here, Jelly Wong is going to chuck a grenade up top, trying to clear out any attackers there. Just like that, as you see, Nomad is going to take a little bit of damage off, or take a little bit of health off of Gridlock over here. So, minute 30 left. It's, again, not looking too promising. It does look like Reanimated Gaming has a pretty good lock on this site. And it doesn't look like Heartbreak has a decent idea of how they're going to be pushing up on this.
Yeah, we're seeing a lot of aggression from Reanimated Gaming, and it's working really well for them. And Orange Heart just have not been able to adapt to their kind of aggression, their flanks, and yeah, just running through kind of like open areas where normally like that's kind of a bad place to be as a defender, but it's people aren't always expecting them there, and they're getting some nice kills from it.
Yeah, and as they have no hard breacher on there as well, it will be a little bit more troubling. And as I say that, Nomad takes out Hades. So right now it is just down to a Monty and a Sledge. Diffuser is nowhere near any of them. So this is just going to be a frag battle at this point.
Yeah, we see...
K2 is upstairs by himself. They could easily swarm him. And as we see here, we have Jelly Wong downstairs, takes out Patriot. It's a nice little angle. But as you can see here, Nomad is lying in wake. Take him out here, and he does hit a couple shots, not able to finally finish him off. He's going to try and take him out with the Pokeball, and he does. Montaigne pushes back downstairs. 18 seconds left, though. He's going to try and go for the kill. Not able to hit any of his shots. Nomad. Nice little 3-piece.
Yeah, going into round 5, like... At the beginning, they seemed a little bit closer paired. Like, some of the rounds weren't extremely decisive. Like, they're down to, like, the last few seconds. Like, we saw the bomb being planted and whatnot. They look pretty close, but I think we've kind of gotten to the point where Orange has kind of lost a little bit of their focus and whatnot. Like, they're getting rolled. 5-0 never feels good. And we kind of see Reanimated just taking advantage of that. When you're in these situations, you just got to, like, replan yourself, redelegate spots and positions, what's working, what's not working. You almost need to take like, a 30-second break, even if it's from a round, if that's what's necessary, because it's better to take time out of your round rather than to continuously blindly go into it. Like, that's, you know, because then you're just going to fail and fail and fail.
Yeah, I think right now they're just throwing everything against the wall, seeing what sticks. Unfortunately, it's really not working for them. Reanimated is just from the looks of it, they're a very well-oiled machine. And I think Heartbreak is more of a team they're filling out their roster, right? I don't know if they know exactly what's happening just yet. I think they're just getting used to this kind of environment, which happens, right? Like, not every team it was the best team ever. You have to start somewhere, right? So they're just gonna have to take this as a learning experience. With how they're attacking this, they just seem to be kind of going in blindly, hoping to win the gunfights, but even then, Reanimated is just better at the gunfights than Heartbreak. So, it's just, Heartbreak's back is against the wall. I think at this point, they're just fighting to survive. Even if they can get 1 point, 2 points on the board, that's going to be a win in their book.
Yeah, exactly.
I think that's what they should be worried.
Attackers are heading out to defuse a bomb.
And like you said, like there's nothing wrong with that. We're shooting at the beginning of the season again. Teams just coming together. Like, I'm not sure how many people have actually been on one of these teams, but like, it's hard work. Like, there's a lot to go over to coordinate with your team and make these plays go on. Like, watching Pro League and stuff, and even like some of these other teams, like they make it look easy, but like the reality is it is hard to kind of make a team run as smoothly as some of them do.
Yep, exactly. As we see here, the Vigil did take a little bit peek out and take some health off of the Nomad, and in turn lost a little bit of health himself. So getting a bit aggressive. Obviously, RG is very confident in their ability, so there's no reason for them not to be at this point. They can play those games where they can be a little bit more aggressive. As you can see here, though, it does seem like Heartbreak is learning from their mistakes, droning out a little bit more. And as you can see here, we will have Dokkaebi pushing in a little bit, going for the smoke grenade, though. He's giving his position away at this point. It seems to be a little bit of a waste of utility, I'm not too sure. Phone calls are going to go out as well. As you see here, Dokkaebi makes her way into the garage. He's going to do a little bit of free fire onto Jaeger. Jaeger is going to catch her, does down her as well. So again, Dokkaebi down in garage to watch here. The Kaid and the Jaeger. Kaid is able to take one out, but Jellywong is able to finally finish off his ice. So there's two very big trades there. You lost Dokkaebi for a Jaeger. And that's it. Royal Viper takes out reactions as well. So it does look very good. Royal Viper with another one to Sleepy Cat. Royal is going off. Patriot, though, with a refrag onto Hades. And it does look like they finally have control of Garage. It looks like they might actually pick one up at this point. Looking very strong. As you see, Nomad and Vigil are nowhere to be seen. Nomad on Kivera is going to push his way into the site very quietly. Might get the sneak onto somebody. He's going to push over here by Red Hall. And he's just going to hold the angle over here by the B site. And as you can see, he will be getting droned out shortly, though. They do spot him out. Jellywong doesn't pick up his teammate. He accidentally kills Royal Viper. A little bit of a misplay at that point, so it's just down to a 2v2. That could actually be a breaking point at this point. As you see here, Kivera does finish him off. Nomad is going to go for the kill, and unfortunately, Impulse not able to hit the shots, and I'm not too sure what happened there, but they had it.
The attack is looking so good.
They had it won.
Yeah.
And then there was a team kill. There was some weird plays. I don't know where they were trying to go. They had control of site, and it was just, I don't know. It just fell apart. And just like that, they're up 6-0 for the switch. And at this point, Reanimated just has to win one on attack, and they've been looking so strong. And that's just, as the name suggests, it's heartbreaking for Heartbreak. So,
yeah. Now, I do like some of the things they did, like those smoke grenades. I like that, but what I would have done was push those smoke grenades further into the garage, because you don't want to smoke your exact entrance, because you're still kind of like running through that, and you're going to come out the other side. They kind of know that, but you put it further in enough where it's not only like covering where you're entering from, but basically also where you're going to. So like any shots are going to be completely luck.
Yeah, it's more masking where you're running rather than announcing where you're going to be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that is a good use of utility. You want to get in the garage, this guy's outgunning you, then like, yeah, that's a very valid use of utility.
I was a bit skeptical at first, but I do see that, again, I think they just used it in the wrong way. Like, they used the way you said it, threw it up a little bit more, have a little bit more cover, so therefore they can get into the positions a little bit easier rather than getting pre-fired. So I think it was just, it was a misuse in the sense of they misused it in the, I guess, execution of how they did it, rather than the actual use of it in general. So we are going to see a basement hold coming from Heartbreak now. We are going to see a Frost make her way out here, though. You don't see Frost too often, especially on the basement site. There's not too many places where they can bolt down. It seems like it is kind of a more simple setup with the Frost. You definitely would probably prefer her upstairs than down. But we'll see how she goes. And Maverick is going to make his way onto the board, as well as the Thermite. So 2 hard breachers, you are definitely getting into sight. And as a Patriot, the M8 is preparing for the new season. I think he's going to be a Maru fan and getting used to that G8 now before the G8 becomes everybody's main.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
He is going to push through the lobby, though, and as you can see, he is getting droned out. And he's going to push his way in. He does notice there is somebody over here. No, he does not. Doc is able to finish him off. He went in before the drone. He should have waited at least half a second, that drone could have spotted out that dock. And as you can see, K2 Impulse with a P90 walks away with that. Walks away, he's going to heal himself back up, and it's like nothing ever happened. So,
again, right strategy, but like poor execution. Like I think there's just a little overconfidence there. You're winning 6-0, and it's like, okay, let's just like go for it.
Yeah,
and
we can lose one. Let's figure out what they're doing. Let's get them the win on the easier site, and then therefore we can win on the harder site. I think that's the mentality. Twitch is going to be doing a little bit of free fire through that wall through archives, and they are just starting to pinch him off. Maverick looking the wrong way, not able to hit the shot with P90. As you see here, Twitch does do a little bit of damage as well. I don't know what's going on. Everybody's ducking and dodging, and unfortunately, Doc not able to take anybody with him. And TM is able to take out Recon, but Nomad with the refrag on the TM. So just down to a Castle and a Frost. And there's still an Ash, Twitch, and a Thermite. So this is going to be a very uphill battle. And again, Heartbreak in a do or die situation at this point. Nomad taking out Purdy. Jelly Wong is going to rotate back into sight. He's going to cut off into lockers, and he's going to rotate into the hallway. Not able to hit a shot. He does finally nail Nomad. Going to pre-fire a couple shots. The diffuser does go down. See here, he's going to push red hallway, and right now all they got to do is play the waiting game. And Thermite's going to open up the hatch, get a little bit better of an angle onto the diffuser, and Jelly Wong has everything in his hands at this point. He's going to hopefully get an angle, but he can't wait too long. He's got to start making that push now. And Ash is just lying in wait on that angle.
Yeah, he's in a pretty tough position, especially now that the attackers are completely set up, ready to go onto the bomb site, and I'm pretty sure they would even have a drone on there. Like, we've seen so many drones coming from these guys already.
He's going for the defuse, but I don't think there's enough time, and Sleepy Cat finishes him off, and that is a 7-0 for Reanimated Gaming, looking very strong in their debut match in the Xbox League.
Yeah, and this is, again, like we were saying, like, Reanimated is the one. They're the ones that won.
They won the preliminary tournament for Xbox.
The preliminary, yeah. So like, this is like one of the better teams that we're going to be expecting a lot from. So you know, it was not going to be an easy match to say the least. So, and again, who knows what we'll see a little bit in the future for Orange Heart, and what other teams can kind of pull off when they play Reanimated games. We're kind of learning the teams out now, which ones kind of place in what situations. So yeah, we're kind of excited to go through this season and see what some of these teams can show.
Yeah, so it's going to be very interesting. But we do have another game coming up for you guys after this. We're just going to get everybody into the lobby. So don't go too far. We're going to have the same casters as you see right now, potentially. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a 5-minute break, get everybody in the lobby, and then we'll come right back, guys. So don't go anywhere. And yeah, so we'll see you in about 5 minutes.
Hello and welcome back. I'm here today with my best co-host ever. Say hello, Neil.
Hello, hello.
And we're back with the Xbox League, and we have two fantastic teams in front of us. We have MMG White versus Pure Loyalty, and we're looking at the map bans already. And we have Bank, which has been taken down by Pure Loyalty.
We have Dostoevsky being the second one by MMG White. All right, so last game we see Bank, and we saw Reanimated just walk over Heartbreak. So that one's off the board. I can see. Here's my hopes. I hope we either see. I want to see Consulate. I have yet to see a Consulate game in the last 3 days we've casted. I love watching Consulate games, but I can see either a Coastline or a Clubhouse.
Oh no, Porsche gone. Yeah.
So again, I'm just thinking of strong maps on Xbox. Clubhouse is generally one that we're going to see, I think, pretty dominant on maps that are picked. Villa being knocked out as well, just a very large map.
Yeah. And there we go. Consulate. Oh no, I missed the Clubhouse.
Coastline, and Consulate. So as
there we go, Clubhouse. This is interesting. Clubhouse and Consulate are completely different styles of maps.
They very much are. Clubhouse being, obviously after the rework, it was definitely a map that was more preferred. It allowed for more leniency for roaming. It also made the objectives obviously a lot better to deal with. But at the same time, it is a map that I would, even then, it's not much like Coastline. What map would I compare it to? I think it would be
closer to Border, because just Clubhouse has it doesn't have a lot of open areas. It has more of a linear approach to it.
Yeah, but
it's not as vertical.
Border is much more vertical. Actually, I might relate it to Coastline. Coastline is very similar.
Yeah, Coastline is probably.
There's a lot of ways downstairs, a lot of ways to go back upstairs, and it's just one of those things where there's not too much vertical play. It's more people focusing on the gunfights straight on. And everything too, the metas are generally set in their ways. Obviously, for the CCTV, you want to attack garage, open up CCTV wall, and possibly push construction. It's just one of those things where there's a lot of layers to how you attack and how you defend. So it'll be very interesting to see. I'm very excited to see this. So we are going to be getting into the map or into the operator bans now. And your Pure Loyalty will be banning Thermite. So no surprise there. That's probably just a main pick, so they have a certain strategy on CCTV. I would have preferred to see a Habana. We might see a dual hard breach ban at this point, but we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, normally Habana gets picked, especially on a map that has a lot of hatches, because she's able to open up more hatches. She is more versatile in that manner, but Thermite is still pretty reliable to open up a wall. He's able to, especially used to open up almost two walls in once when he kind of placed it in the middle. So he kind of has that aspect to him too.
Yep. Capital, again, that's just an operator, more of a target ban for downstairs. Therefore, they can just focus on blue. Therefore, they can have a little bit more control. Echo, no surprise there.
Yeah.
Echo is a super powerful operator, just less intel and less plant denial than usual. And last, we're going to see Caveira. Again, not too surprised by it, but it is an interesting pick. Caveira is a very strong operator on Xbox. She is basically the Ella of Xbox. Really? So because PS4 has a very strong Ella presence, Xbox is a very big Cav presence. So having her off the board, that's just one less operator with very powerful weapons off the board. But again, not the most effective use of your banning. But I digress. There's usually a reason for it.
Between her and Ella, she, I would say, is stronger because her ability to at least she can all of a sudden ping all the other attackers on the map. That's insane. Ella, on the other hand, is just
they do very similar jobs in the sense of Ella with her shotgun is just meant to close off a section of the map to make it very difficult for the attackers to do it. Whereas Caveira can do the same job, but she's a little bit more versatile. So she can be a strong, heavy roamer, or she can have her shotgun and completely shut down like a stairwell or a hallway or something like that. So as we see here, though, the picks are pretty standard. We're going to see a Mav being 6th pick on 2.
Attackers need to locate and
So
defuse
that's
as
not
many
too
bombs as
surprising
they
there.
can.
And we're going to CCTV. So again, not too surprising there. We'll most likely see a bit of a bandit trick unless the wall gets Mav tricked, as well as we're most likely going to see a strong garage presence coming from Pure Wicked on the Legion. So it's going to be a pretty standard hold, I can imagine, coming from Pure.
And also bringing a Kaid, like that's really handy to have. Like you try to bandit trick as long as possible, but when it gets like, if your bandits gets destroyed and it gets kind of too crazy to be right at that door, Kaid can just kind of long arm it from far away and hopefully kind of destroy whatever's being attached to that wall. So that's kind of a handy secondary to have as well on that defense.
Yeah, it is very, very handy, and as you see here, they're all going to be approaching it from construction. It's a very common place to do, so hopefully they don't get run out on from garage. We see here Habana will be coming in over here by Strip Club as well, so she's going to be taking the far approach, making sure that she doesn't get picked off too early.
Yeah, so like we were saying before, it's pretty much like the strat's pretty much set out. We can see that Thermite already trying to get that wall open onto site. Habana looks like she's trying to drone herself in for any of the roamers. If she can kind of get in, I assume her strat is to get where we just finished seeing that defender, because if she's able to open up that other wall there, that's going to really like corner in the defenders at that point. So we do have a lot of droning going on, and if that Habana can get in that position, maybe take care of that Jaeger, then yeah, that's going to put the attackers at a really strong position.
And as you see here, Styles and Weeks is going to be approaching here through logistics, and they're going to be approaching construction here, but now they know that the Jaeger is going to be there. And as you see here, the gunfire does go up, but they tags deletion, but the call probably went out for the Jaeger. He's going to retreat back over to B site. And just like that, right now the attackers have control of bedroom and somewhat control of construction. So very, very good use of the time here. A minute 30 left, and they take control of the majority of where they need to go. Free fires go out just to see the head of the Jaeger. Styles is not able to do that. And he's going to retreat back. As you see here, the wall does get open by Copper Fiddle.
Another, like, a strategy that I actually enjoy watching this now, a lot of teams try to go through garage. Garage can be a very pinnacle point for attackers to try to get through and defenders to try to hold, but it can be very tricky sometimes. So I like the fact that they just forget that. Let's just go through bedroom. Bedroom's going to be much easier for us to get through and push forward. And yeah, it's definitely working for them. They're able to hold down and just pick off defender one by one. They don't even have to move in. Like, the defenders, they're trapped.
Yeah, and they just picked them off one by one. As you see here, the kill feed was going very quickly. So they had the idea, they took control of where they needed to be, and then they just quickly swooped in, took care of all the defenders, and easily won all their gunfights. And first round does go to MMG White.
That was such a smooth attack. Like, I enjoyed watching that. Like, the coordination on that one went really well, one thing after another, and yeah, that was a very well done attack.
Yep, it was fantastic watching them do that. Again, as you see there, they had a game plan. The drones went out, and that's the importance of, like what we were saying in the last game, importance of droning your teammates into the next room, not going in beforehand, and therefore it really paid off for them. So it does seem that Pure Loyalty, starting off on the back foot, is going to have to definitely up their game if they're going to want to take out MMG White in this game.
Yeah, so now we're going to see Church and Arsenal rooms. So yeah, they're going to go for the basement. That being a very tough spot to hold without a roamer, especially the way that we saw MMG kind of take control of that situation. You're going to want a roamer to try to disrupt them, because once they get in position like that, you know you're in trouble. They're that coordinated, so you need someone to be able to kind of throw them off their game, or at least waste enough time that they're not able to just sit there and wait for a nice pick. You're forcing them to come to you. So I'm hoping to see a decent amount of roam game coming from Pure Loyalty in order to offset that attack.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see, but as they have the Kaid, it does give a little bit more leniency, so they don't need as much presence upstairs. They can, they do have a Thatcher, so it will delay them ever so slightly, not enough to really make a big difference, but it does, you know, obviously use utility for the hatches rather than later down the line where they have to open up the downstairs walls or anything like that, or even take care of any blue mines. So as we see here, Styles is going to be pushing over here by Strip Club with Maverick. They're going to be taking it from the far west side over. Make sure there's no roamers just to be extra sure. But as we can see, there are no roamers to worry about, but just being a little bit more cautious than running in by themselves. As she's getting drawn out through billiards, going to push him through the bathroom over here. And as you can see here, the defenders are playing a little bit more... how would I say, playing a little bit more reserved than they did in the first round. They're just letting the attackers push them, which is what they should have done before, rather than vice versa, getting a little bit too aggressive. First hatch gets opened over into Moto. So that is a minute 50 still on the board, and the first hatch is open, so very good use of time here. And as I see here, IQ is taking out the downstairs cameras, and Styles, lagging just a little bit. A little bit of lag. Not opening up the hatch in kitchen just yet. Not too sure why. Oh, she's going to try and get it from the top angle, but she does need to wait for the Thatcher to open that up. Again, I think it's just a little bit of nerves. It's a little bit not as coordinated this round as they were or last time. Ooh, nice Kaid trick. And chuck another one. I'm not able to take all of them out, and just like that, Habana has no more pellets, and Kitchen Hatch does not get opened up. Fantastic work coming from Pure Loyalty, able to delay now the attackers. Now they have to push either through Moto or the main central stair hallway. And with 55 seconds left, under a minute, it's going to be a very tough push, especially because everybody's still on the board. There has been no pick. I would say that. Oh, Mute does get a little bit too aggressive. Control 13 does take his head clean off with the 5.52 command. Another one, and Weeks with a 2 on top of the Pure, so that is a very nice one on Jackal. It is down to a... Oh, I was going to say that. It is down to just the Kaid against 4 operators. So Maverick is down. Not too sure where he's at. Plant is going down. Not too sure where he's at. He just looks over his head. He's right there. He's missing the shot. Not too sure what he's looking at. He's going to move back. Gets pushed in Weeks. It's a nice triple kill. Taking out Kaid. And that's another one up.
These guys are, like, really well coordinated. Like I said before, like, the basement is hard to hold because there's a lot of possibility, like a lot of areas that the attackers can kind of hold angles on. It is a large area for the defenders, which is good. It allows a little bit of rotation and movement, and especially since they're able to hold that kitchen hatch, that is vital. But just how well that we're seeing MMG, you can't let them get into position like they are. Because we saw the IQ holding the long hallway for quite a long time, just waiting for a defender to kind of come around, and he got that pick. Like, you need to distract him a little bit more to kind of push it more in your favor. Now, mind you, like, again, we are seeing MMG drone both top and mid. Like, they're doing a good job, like, making sure there aren't any roamers. So it's not going to be easy to do roaming, but I think something needs to happen in that category to kind of slow them down, draw them out, maybe get a nice kill. That's going to really disrupt the attack.
Yeah. Clubhouse is a tricky one to roam on because you can get cut off very easily, and you can accomplish, like, the whole point of the roamer is to delay as much time as possible. If done correctly, you can actually waste quite a bit of time, but Clubhouse is not a overly large map. You can get cut off quite easy. So like you said, it is a risky play to do, but maybe a little bit of roam presence might be needed at this point. You see the mirror coming out as well. Very rare pick to leave on the board, especially because of how powerful her utility and reactions are. And even the Vector has a little bit of a little scent of superpower on it because of the amount of rate of fire it does have. she's going to try and carefully position this window so therefore she can see the B-bomb. And therefore, again, it gives a little bit more intel. Very smart move on her part. That's a very clever window. And as you can see here, we have Pop a Fiddlestick and MMG, or Pure Loyalty, is going to do the exact same strategy as they did before.
Yeah, it worked last time. You know, if it's not broke, why fix it? We'll see if the defenders kind of like are able to kind of see ahead of what's going to happen and kind of change that up. I'm not sure. And again, when I was talking about roaming, this is a bad map for a long roam to be across the map, but I think even if you're just a little bit off-site, just enough to kind of make them cautious on their push forward will be a good move.
Oh, Weeks getting caught off guard. And then Sascaroni is able to take him out. So that is your Jackal off the board. That's a very strong pick, and the Jaeger does work his way back and forth to the objective. So job done for that. The Jackal and the C7E is off the board. And right now, Styles is kind of left on his own with two attackers. Can easily cut him off. And that could be your hard breach gone too, or at least one of your hard breach. And right now, they're just in the patience game. As you see, Trooper is going to sit here patiently, but it is closely followed up by the Thatcher, and unfortunately gets caught off guard, and Trooper is going to get down. But as this run on ESL kind of rules, he doesn't know that he's down. He just really hit him. Here though, Jaeger taking out the Habana, but the quick succession, the Thatcher does get taken care of the downed castle. Right now he's on his own. Oh, what a flick onto Pure Saskatoon, but Pure Outlaws able to do a refrag. Attackers on the back foot right now. Defenders are looking mighty strong at this point. And it looks like Pure Loyalty might be able to get their first victory on the board to keep this one up. Fires coming out with the red hallway. C4 getting ready to be tossed. And there it does look like the attackers are starting to slow down a little bit, trying to figure out how they're going to be approaching this next site. So a little bit of pre-fire onto the mirror wall, not able to hit anybody though. That makes way into the objective. Vector does go out. Plant is going down. But here the bandit goes for it, downs the Thatcher with 11 seconds left. Now it's going to be an uphill battle. C4 does take out the Thatcher, and he's going to go for the plant, but might be too little too late at this point. And he's going to get stuck in a plant safe situation. Shotgun comes out, and first victory comes out for Pure Loyalty. Nice hold. Very strong hold against your CCB. That looks like they learned from their previous mistakes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that looked much better. And again, like they put up a really good fight in the bedroom area. They got some really valuable kills from that area that stopped the attackers from opening up the wall onto the other site. And again, that kind of, they didn't have to worry about that other flank, and that allowed a lot of the other defenders to still just be able to focus on the window. They don't have to worry about behind them, and that completely changed how that round went. So that was well done. They're able to adapt to what they've seen, and yeah, that's a well-deserved win.
It very much was, and I was very impressed to see how they isolated the attackers. The definitely lured them in. The Jaeger did more than enough work. He took care of almost three. He took care of two attackers to delay as much time as possible, and therefore he kind of did his job. Took away two very powerful operators. So good job on him, able to take care of that. So we'll have to see how it translates into this next round, though. We're going to Master Bedroom Gym. You don't see this one too often, just because of how hard it is to hold. It is a very difficult site because, obviously, if they take control of 90, you lose almost that whole entire side of the map, and then, therefore, weight room becomes almost unobtainable, and Master Bedroom is very difficult to hold at that point. So it'll be very interesting to see how they attack, or how they defend this site.
Yeah, that jacuzzi wall is vital. Like we do have a castle and stuff, so the common strat that we're going to see is that castle wall to protect that bandit. That bandit's job is to make sure that jacuzzi wall does not get opened, and I think part of that is also why they banned the fire arrows, because that's usually the counter for this position right here. So if they're able to, if they keep that close, then they stand a chance. But as soon as Jacuzzi wall gets open, then like it is really difficult to defend. Like there's way too many. You can't rotate anywhere. It becomes like a sitting duck situation that if you don't win those gun battles, which are really hard to do, then yeah, you're done. You're cooked. Again, we are seeing droning coming out. Like they're doing a fantastic job making sure that they know where all the players are. No defenders roaming around that they can come around for a flank. Takes a little bit of time, especially on this map, but they do a pretty good job being effective, and it's vital because having a roamer behind you is obviously going to completely destroy them. It's looking like
having a roamer vaguely around you, never good sign.
Never a good sign.
Never good sign.
Captain Obvious here. Getting shot hurts. Let's avoid that.
Let's avoid that and make sure that the enemy team doesn't win. But as you see, Bandit is going to be getting cut off very severely. Outlaw is in a very tricky spot, but he's managed to stay alive this much, but he's going to get cut off quite quickly. They do drone him out. The call is going to come that he is underneath the window, and now he is absolutely stuck. Hopefully he can take a couple bodies with him at this point. You can see here, he does do a trade though, so that is your IQ off the board, but not a very big impact frag. The Bandit did do his job, wasting a little bit of time, and the IQ now cannot see any of the gadgets, so there's more gadgets you have to worry about.
Recovered the bomb diffuser.
And as you can see here, the smoke is going to take a little bit off the weaks. And Pure Wicked is going to take off the style. Now I'm not able to finish on anybody there. So good shots on him. We are down to a 4v2 in this situation. Smoke still has one gas canister left, but with them 45 seconds left, it might be not enough for them to push out. And as you see here, Pop Fiddlestick's going to be trying to have to push in through bathroom, but he's going to put a C4 or a Claymore down, and therefore he can hold his back, and therefore he can push in the doorway. Weeks on pretty well almost 2 bullets, and then he's gone, but he's been pretty accurate with that C7E today, so I can imagine he's going to win most of the fights. He is going to push over here as well, and not able to take out that mute, and just like that, it ends almost instantly. Nice coming from Pure Loyalty, able to hold out this bomb site. Very impressive, actually.
Yeah. I'm very impressed. They did a good job at utilizing those shotguns, like having that mute in that corner. He took down like 3 players, I think. 2 for sure at the end.
2 for sure, 3 possibly.
Yeah, I'm impressed. Like that is not an easy site to hold, and they did it quite well. Hats off to that. Like even with Jacuzzi wall like opened up enough, I don't and have that completely cornered off. That was well played.
Yeah, so now we will be going to Church Arsenal Room. Again, very average bomb site. I guess average is the wrong term, but it's a very standard bomb site. It's very predictable.
It's a go-to.
Yeah, it's a go-to spot. But as you can see, it is a tie game, so it is going to go back and forth. So it'll be very interesting to see how they've adapted onto this one. Bringing almost the same composition as they did last time, though. Maestro, Jaeger, Mute, Castle. Castle is, I feel, not as strong on this site as most. He can delay a little bit of time depending on where he puts the castles, but I feel that possibly a different pick could have come out at that point and made it a little bit easier. Mira is probably prepping to put a wall onto blue. Very interesting considering that it can be taken out from tunnel if not cautious. So it will be very tricky, or very interesting to see how she does that. And Castle is going to have, he's going to be holding himself up here in, I guess, storage. Yeah, it's going to be, ooh, I've never seen this hold, so let's see how this goes.
I like that.
Yeah, I like this is something a little bit different.
And this is what I'm talking about, like, a delay tactic. This is kind of like your roam. They're putting a little bit of effort up there. They don't want them to get into position so easily. I like what they're doing.
Yeah, I think he just knows. He's like, okay, I know I'm going to die here. The Twitch drone is going to come through. And he's going to take that out pretty quickly. So Mira, that Mira's wall, it will be staying up. But I think he does know that, okay, I'm probably going to die here, but I got to waste as much time as possible. But it doesn't look like the attackers are going to try and move around him and potentially cut off any flank or any re-entry of the site that he might need to do. Zofia will be approaching here in dirt. And she does get eyes onto the mute, so she can take out this Mira window if she is able to get the angle. She's going to hold a tight angle here with the hollow sight. Not too sure. Oh, and the mute jammer does go out, so that is all that intel gone at this point. And now they know somebody is in dirt, and Zofia is in a very different position. It's castle still.
It's fine for her to be there as long as the other attackers can get to their position. All Zofia has to do is like stay alive, hold an angle, and wait. Once the other attackers are able to do their jobs, then Zofia becomes a prime piece again. But if she tries to like make moves and stuff, she's alone, she's not in a great position, then that would be the mistake.
Yeah, and as we see here, they don't have as much control of the downstairs as they would like, but as I say that, she does get shot out pretty quick. Gets caught behind the bar, couple fiddlesticks just to finish him off with an F2. And as we see here, though, they're not prepared for Wicked. Not able to hit a job with that 911 here. Like that, he is going to get shot out, getting caught up in that corner. But he did take out the Zofia at that point, so he did do his job well. 54 seconds on the clock, so there's a lot of time wasted by those two moments. And now the attackers do have to push and move quickly to try and take out the remaining three, sorry. And with a Mira and a Maestro still on the board, it is a definite uphill battle from this point. See here, Jackal will be pushing in Moto, getting drone through. Takes out that Evil Eye. Good on him, able to take that out. And Weeks, again, very strong on this Jack. I've been very strong all game. Pretty well. Not even being very accurate with that weapon. And using that hollow sight. We will have the Alba here. Right here. Oh, unfortunately, he does lose sight of the Jackal. The Jackal does take care of him pretty quickly. Weeks is going to be holding the angle here. Nice flick onto there. Papa Trooper able to take out Papa Fiddlesticks. So it is just down to a 2v1 Mira on her own. And here, she does have to get defused, and they have full control of Church. Do a little bit of pre-fire into the back hall. Not able to hit anybody there. Trying to get a little bit of pre-fire, see if she can get a lucky headshot, but I don't think they are. They are embedded in the site right now, and as you see here, Jackal is going to do the pre-fire with time running out. Goes to C4, not able to hit anybody, move around. With very little time left, she just has to try and take a couple bodies. Does finally take out Weeks, but time is up at this point. And nobody near the bomb. Attackers. Winning round number 5.
They really, the defenders had a good start near the beginning. They did lose a 2-to-1 ratio, but was it a good payoff? Maybe yes, no, because there was only a minute left for the attackers. There was a good opportunity for whoever dropped in Moto to get killed, but it just didn't go his way. He tried to pre-fire through that table, it didn't work out. I think that kill definitely... Yeah, that kill, he lost his camera on the table. I think he could have positioned himself a little bit better. That kill should have been his. And, but it definitely looked better on the defense. They changed up their strategy a little bit. And I still think that was the right move.
Yeah, it was very good effort by the Mira at that point, pure Mr. Wicked. Definitely able to play that Mira effectively, but again, against Weeks and that Jackal, he's just been super strong on it. It's a very tough, he's a very tough player to beat from the looks of it, and he's a very skilled player with Jackal. He does make it very difficult for everybody at that point. And so, again, Mira did her best, but to no avail. We'll be moving ourselves back up to CCTV. And CCTV is, again, another very safe pick. I do like how this bomb site is very... it is a staple. There is a way to defend it. Obviously, we're going to have red, we're going to have garage, but you can definitely mix up the operators and hold it in different ways with those critical points being done. As you see here, mirror, you don't see this too often. You don't see the mirror window. Again, that is a very tricky spot to do because it can technically be countered fairly easily, but if done correctly, it can actually hold off or delay a lot of time coming from the defensive side. So it's a double-edged sword at that point. But I just like how CCTV has developed into this almost testing ground for certain operatives to see what is the best possible way, or what is an even better possible way to hold this site. And as usual, we do see the Habana and the Jackal pushing in through West Side, and we'll see the Jaeger of Pure Sascaroni over here by construction. So again, not too different than we saw in round number 3.
Yeah, it's going to come down to, like, the assumption is that they're going to try to push through Benjamin again. I assume that's what they're doing, and it looks like that's exactly what Pure Loyalty is expecting. That was a vital part of their defense last time, so we'll see what goes on this time. They opened up a window, and it looks like some droning is going on. They brought a Buck. That's definitely going to open up that hatch. Who is the Buck replacing? I think an IQ or something.
Yeah, the Buck is replacing the IQ that they had last time. IQ was, unfortunately, again, she was getting taken out pretty quickly, and her utility wasn't being used fully. Whereas a Buck, you have obviously the utility of a Buck is obviously for using forwards, frags, a completely different role at this point. And a lot of these.
And the kills from underneath.
Yes, so he's able to take out the bandit, and that's a very big kill. So that is the bandit trick off the board. Just like that, you can actually displace a lot of these defenders. And as you see here, we will have the mute up top. He's gonna go for the frag grenade and chuck it up top there. Not able to get anybody, but does do a little bit of damage. Not a whole lot though. Maybe like about 10 damage. And you can see here though, he does get taken up by Style as Castle off the board. So it is literally just down to the Miro once again. C4 does go out, able to take him off, not able to hit his shots. Controller 13 taking up Pure Mr. Wicked. And a very strong coming from MMG White, able to finish off the
Yeah, MMG White looking like very strong on their attack on the clubhouse. Like this is definitely they're definitely ready on this map. Like they're working together quite well, and even though like Pure Loyalty is playing well too, like their defense is good, but like you need a prime defense if you want to beat MMG. Because they're hitting their shots. They're so well coordinated. They have the angles going down. I'm quite impressed.
Mm-hmm. And going into it a 4-2, that's definitely where they want to be. It's not impossible for Pure Loyalty to bring it back. Obviously, they have the 2 rounds, and every team does play a little differently on attack than defense.
Yeah.
But as you're looking at the scoreboard here, it is fairly balanced between the 2 teams. As you can see here, we have Weeks with 8 kills, leading the frags on MMG White, and as you can see up top, we have Papa Trooper with 7. But if you look at, they're both very even teams. It's really just down to the last pushes, as we see, as the make or breaks for these teams. But as mentioned as last game, it's nice to see that Mozzie is coming out. It is definitely something that it's nice to see because he does very similar stuff as Mute, and he is one of the more powerful operators to have on defense right now.
Defenders, protect your bombs from being defused.
Yeah, and again, because like there's a little bit more lit, like map has a lot more linear areas, you can really optimize on Mozzie and the utility that she brings in this map a little bit better than some of the other maps.
Yeah, and as well, again, just because right now he can actually cut off a lot of access into dirt just by putting a pest somewhere in the middle. So therefore, they can really only drone halfway through, and it makes it so a lot of intel can be lost, and then the attackers are in a blind spot per se, where they can't really push that area. They move somewhere else, and therefore you can possibly even get the jump on them. But as we see here, Weeks is going to be jumping onto the Jaeger, so he's going to kind of keep up with the main fragger role potentially, with a roaming Jaeger. And We will probably have Mozzie. Yeah, we will have Mozzie blowing open the floor, trying to go for the what's that impact trick? Probably going for a C4 trick, just to make sure it can't open that hatch particularly. But we do have the attackers showing up on the east side and the west side. They're going to be pushing them through top and making sure we're going to clear out from top to bottom here.
Yeah, knowing that there's a roamer, this is kind of how you test it to see how good are they at droning themselves in to take out this defender. We do see Weeks already taking a lot of damage, so it looks like he does get spotted out. Doing the right thing, backing off, relocating. So now this is the problem for the attackers. Like, now they have to, like, re-find him and, like, re-engage with him. Looks like he's going to go back upstairs, though.
Yeah, he's just rotating back closer to this vigil, so that therefore, if he does die, there can be a refrag. But they are slowly hunting him down, as we see here. Daniel is going to be on the Maverick. He does hear the Jaeger go downstairs, and he's going to slowly pursue him as quietly as he can. He could potentially be getting hatches at this point, so this might be a potential waste of utility. He does take out Weeks, though. Weeks didn't have much left to give, but it does look like Papa Fiddlesticks does get undetected, so this might actually be a potential flank we see coming from him. And Styles is able to take out Drew Daniel with the impact grenade, so that is your Maverick off the board. Very nice. Very nice trick to be able to take him off the board. Mozzie taking a little bit of a fight with the Sophia. And right now the Habana is going to rotate around and try and open these hatches here. Minute left on the board. Attackers are starting to get their strategy together. But as you can see here, this Vigil has gone uncontested up top and does take out the Habana. And that is your diffuser down. And unfortunately, he's getting another one. Nobody's calling out that he's up top, and nobody knows where he's at. IQ finally making her way back upstairs, but it's too late. You lost two very important attackers. And the IQ and the Thatcher, and that's another one for Papa Fiddlesticks. That's a 3K for him. And just like that, he has full control. The power of Vigil is going uncontested up top. And this Thatcher has no idea where he's at. He's going to go for the diffuser. And he does make it away with his life. But with 19 seconds left and 4 pretty well almost full health attack or defenders, you don't think he's getting out of this one alive. Vigil, not able to hit his shots. Walks away. A little bit of potato at the end. Styles finally able to take him out. And a very strong defense coming from MMG White. Papa Fiddlesticks, the MVP of that round.
Amazing, like, roam, amazing hold, like, the patience, like, yeah, that's the priority of how you hold that basement, is they just wasted, even if both of those roamers died, by the time the attackers kind of got into starting to set up their position, it was like a minute left.
Yeah, and then at that point, it was way too late. So,
yeah.
Papa Fiddlesticks, look at that. Let's see where he's at. He went up top. He's right second place. He went from, middle of the board to almost top fragger. He's one away now. So him and Weeks carrying the team, and then Pure Wicked and Papa Trooper right behind him with basically 1 kill away from each of them.
Yeah.
Castle finally getting taken out here. I don't think the Castle is working for anybody. Moving over to the Valkyrie, getting a little bit more intel. That's exactly what Pure Loyalty needs at this point. They need, or not Pure, MMG White. That's exactly what they need. They just need that a little bit extra intel. Therefore, they can eke out these wins a little bit more.
From being defused by attackers.
Yeah, they're
looking fairly strong though. It's a 5-2. I'm not
yeah, like we're seeing some pretty flawless runs, like coming from MMG. I don't know what else to say. Like, it's hard to tweak what they're doing because it's working so well. Like, they just seem so well coordinated. So like you can tell like they've been playing together for a long time. Like, these are going to be one of the teams that we expect, to make it really far in the league.
5 seconds left before insertion.
They have developed strategies that seem to be working for them, and they seem to be oddball strategies, which is really good. But even that being said, Pure Loyalty is really not slouching. They're just, again, they're just having a bit of trouble. I don't think this is definitely not their map. Like, I feel like they're struggling a little bit just to figure out the strategies and they're not too sure how to approach things. If you look carefully, the way they do things is they seem to have, for example, the last one, they didn't fully clear out the top floor. There was no real roam clear. They just droned it out. Yeah, we don't see anybody up here, whereas the Vigil was hiding in shower, which is a pretty common hiding spot for a roamer. And he just went unchecked at that point. You see here, though, Pure Outlaws is going to possibly get a peek here. But he moves away from the angle. Bandit lives to see another day. He might get a little aggressive here and try and peek him, but he's not careful. Definitely Pure Outlaws has the better angle, but he does get a few shots onto him. Just like that. Troll 13 is going to have to run away as the Bandit will not work now that everybody can see his feet, and they will finally open CCTV wall with only a minute 30 left, so they have lots of time to make this push.
I think Pure Loyalty is like one change away from being super competitive against MMG. Like you're saying, like we've seen a lot of great things from them, but like just to make those one or two mistakes is enough to like completely lose a round. So like learning from this mistake, we expect them to come back completely different because there's a lot of potential here. There's a lot of gunplay and a lot of really good strats. It's just not able to finish it off enough to bring their team into a win.
Oh, not able to hit his shots though. Weeks is able to get it taken care of real quick. He does take the Zombie off the board, but at that point, the Zombie job was pretty well almost done. So not a huge impact, but that Legion off the board, that is a very big impact frag coming from Pure Loyalty. So that is one of the main fraggers they don't have to worry about, but they still have Papa Fiddlesticks over here on the mute with the SMG-11 and the shotgun. So he is still a little bit of a nuisance. And you will have Papa Trooper here. He's going to drone out Garage, trying to go, possibly going for a rotate, try and push from a different angle. Pure Wicked is also going to be approaching slowly from over here, and oh, what a shot coming from Styles! Able to take out, the Thatcher. At this point, takes a bit of damage, not fully dead though, so he is still a threat at this point. And he's just going to hold the angle. Diffuser is outside, so it will be up to Pure Loyalty to make this push. They finally take care of Styles, but with 12 seconds left, not a lot of time for him to make this push. And as you see here, he gets taken care of. The diffuser is going down.
5 seconds left.
Valkyrie not too sure where he's going to be planting. Finally goes, makes his way over the common spot, gets taken care of, and Pop Fiddlesticks finishing off Pure Mr. Wicked. And that round going over to MMG White, looking very strong. Looking to close this one out with 1 game left. Going on match point.
That close range shotgun is sitting by those doors. Like they've used that a few times and it works out well for them. Like shotguns seem to work well on this map. A lot of kind of close range areas where the attackers kind of forced to try to push themselves into those rooms. And yeah, that's a good tactic. They're making good use of it. I really like what they're doing there.
Mm-hmm. And as you see here, Styles is going to potentially pick the Tachanka, which I feel might get 6th pick, or it's them just being a little bit more confident than they should be. But as you see here, Pure Outlaw Sins is going to be picking the Lion, which is a very powerful operator if used properly. So I think with this, they're just trying to slow down the roaming game, because they do know that MMG White is very aggressive with their roaming. Thatcher being 6th pick on, good call by that. They didn't really have anybody to take care of that. The only person would have been Maverick, but even then, it can't be as consistent as Thatcher.
Yeah, I really like the Lion pick. Like, I think that was a good choice for them, because exactly, they're losing a little bit on...
We're going to see a bar take, too. That's going to be very interesting. You don't see that very often. It's probably one of the more undesirable here. We're going to go for the classic Tachanka on the pool table.
Looking for some early picks right out that window.
Yeah, he's going to try and throw them off. Tachanka, our Lord and Savior, is going to try and make an appearance and be as competitive as he possibly can be. At this point, they can definitely throw these strats out and be a little bit more lenient, but they have to be careful not to be too
5 seconds left.
not too lenient. If this strat doesn't work, then just move on. Don't do it again.
Are heading out.
But this might actually work for them. Again, might throw them off guard, but they are getting droned up pretty quickly. Especially with, as you see here, Matthews is going to be making a very strong statement on Pure Outlaw Sins. That's the quick frag. That is your Lion off the board, so unfortunately Lion will not be seen on this map. And that's a very powerful operator off the board. And right now, Pure Loyalty is just going to have to slow it down, and they really got to regroup, because at this point, they could have this match lost, because the mentality of them is, oh man, we just lost another operator to a peak. Matthews, though, being on the Jaeger, not. And oh, he goes for a little bit of a peek there, and he gets punished by Mr. Wicked. So again, nice roll of refrag there, but right now they are taking their sweet time to push into sight.
Yeah, MMG being a little overconfident, a little over-aggressive, so as long as that's recognized, we can see, like, get a nice kill here and there, slow it down enough. This is a site that they can win. There's a lot of areas that, like, to make where they're entering from, like this, they're approaching it right. Get some lawn angles on there, and you can go in for a plant, and especially with that garage not being opened, that's going to definitely be able to be used against the defenders if you have the right angle.
And as you see, Tachanka will be setting up behind the bar, not really, or he might be trying to get on top of the bar, but even then, he won't have a clear angle of it. Bystro will be the only line of defense for B site. If he gets taken out, that is going to be a very strong, it'll be a very strong pick. But they are running out of time, and they're running out of time fast. Control 13 able to take out Pure Wicked, so it's a run off the board. Taking out that Alda. And it's not looking good for Pure Loyalty at this point.
They're coming down to a minute. Again, like, we saw them on their drones. Get as much info as possible. There is a slight window that you have to enter, but they're too scared, it looks like. They're
playing they're playing a very defensive game, but unfortunately they don't have the manpower to really pull this one off. And they're just unfortunately not able to, not able to hit any of the shots. As you see here, but they're just playing very cautiously. And it's just the mentality right now is, oh man, we're not winning these gunfights. They're being super aggressive. We're not being able to stop them from doing this, and it's just. I think they're just unfortunately have that mindset that they're not going to win. From looks of it, they are having trouble, but with a nice little refrag coming from Prophet Trooper, those lines are off with 7 seconds left. Pop Fiddlesticks and Weeks finishing off both of them, and MMG White taking it 7-2 on Clubhouse.
Yeah, this game definitely went to MMG. Like, it's hard to deny. Like, they definitely outplayed Pure. Like, they had the better strats, they had the better coordination. It was the impressive team to watch. But going up maybe on a different map on a different day, like, next time I expect to see a lot from Pure Loyalty.
They definitely were not comfortable on this map. We can tell that they lost the map banning phase. But they did what they could with what they had. They looked fairly strong at the beginning, but then at that point, MMG White just kind of walked all over them and was in full control and made the attackers second guess themselves at that point. There was just some very weak, if I were to put it in that terms, they were very weak pushes in the sense of a little bit of hesitation, and MMG White was just kind of doing a full push if they were trying to take any gunfights or anything like that. We just seen full commitment coming from Jaegers. Even if they took one of them with them, it was an impact frag. It was always somebody important, or at least relatively important. And MMG was just on point this game. So again, good job from MMG White. Pure Loyalty going back to the drawing board, but looking very promising for the rest of the season.
Yeah.
But that will be our 2 games for today, guys. Thank you for coming out. We hope you enjoyed everything that you saw. We'll be I think we're going to be trying to do Xbox League every Tuesday at around 7 or 8 o'clock. Again, the times will vary depending on what time the teams are available. But you can also follow us on Instagram. You can follow us on Twitter at MMG. And you can also find myself and Bubba Fabes on Twitter. And do you have Instagram?
I think I have an account, but like, no.
Okay. No. You can follow us on Twitter at Bubba Fabes and at ngarby. But for now, guys, that is it for tonight. So we will catch you next Tuesday. And don't forget to tune in tomorrow for the PS4 MMGL, or be game day number 2. and we'll have some fantastic games for you then. But for now, guys, we'll talk to you later. Have a good night, Bubba. Have a good night, everybody. We'll talk to you later.